Welcome back to the Southern Scene. It's time now for our legal scene. You know, the past 20 years, we've kind of seen a medical revolution in America. Pharmaceutical companies, as you know, manufacture, test, and introduce new drugs regularly. But despite all the testing by the drug companies and monitoring by the FDA, lawsuits are an inevitable side effect of new drugs on the market. And that's what we're talking to our legal expert, Mark Tate of Tate Law Group, about today, the pharmaceutical industry. And now Mark Tate of Tate Law Group joins us. Mark, let's talk about pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
I mean, it's a big business.
Sure.
Why do we see so many issues with new drugs on the market?
Yeah. You know, first of all, I want to say that we all respect and love what the pharmaceutical industry has done to treat bad diseases that are out there. Obviously, without them, we'd still be suffering with all kinds of things like polio, and we wouldn't have developed all the wonderful antibiotics that have saved so many people's lives. However, a lot of drugs that are put on the market are rushed to market, and the FDA, while a government approval process exists, is not going to be able to protect us from when the drug companies use their desire to make huge profits over the realistic safety concerns that they should be dealing with. The drug companies will do studies, and they frequently have found that their drug will harm people in the specific way that it does when the drug gets on the market. You know, a recent and very tragic example has been fen-phen, and fen-phen was a diet drug. But fen-phen, even when used exactly as it was intended, would only help you lose an additional 3 pounds when you use it with proper diet and exercise. But the problem is that the company realized that it caused a disease that is deadly called primary pulmonary hypertension. In addition to causing primary pulmonary hypertension, it caused mitral valve prolapse, which is a heart disorder. And, you know, while not necessarily always deadly, it's certainly something that will change your life forever. So that's a specific recent example of when pharmaceutical industry gets a drug on the market when it knows that the disease that it causes is going to happen. They don't warn about it.
Now, you said 20 years ago. So is there not a certain time period, I mean, that goes by that you can't bring a case? Or?
Well, it depends on where you are. Some states have been very aggressive in limiting liability, and they want to protect pharmaceutical industries for what they do wrong. For example, in Texas, if the drug that you take has been approved by the FDA, they are absolutely immune from suit, and they cannot be sued. In Georgia, what we have is called a 10-year statute of repose, and that's simply for failure to warn. You can still sue them. So if you get primary pulmonary hypertension, don't think that you're not going to be compensated. You need to contact us, and we can help you work through that. Other drugs, even more recently than that, for example, Bayer made a drug called Yaz, and it was a birth control hormone, and they got in trouble for doing what's known as over-marketing. And what they did there is they told young women, very young girls, that this drug will treat something that happens during a monthly cycle that's called body dysmorphic disorder, and they actually believe that they look completely different than what they do, and they over-marketed this drug to these young women. And in addition to it not safely treating that, it also caused deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism. And so we have girls sometimes as young as 13 suffering pulmonary embolism, deep vein thrombosis, having heart attacks from it and having strokes from these things and dying from pulmonary embolism. This is very serious stuff. Bayer, after a protracted litigation, has finally stepped up to the plate and said, you know what, you're right. We will fix what we did wrong, and they're compensating these young women. Bayer is a frequent defendant, and Bayer, you know, even more tragically, produced a drug called Baycol. Baycol was supposed to be for swelling and that type of muscular and joint pain, and Baycol caused a condition where your muscles would digest themselves called rhabdomyolysis, and Bayer, in fact, finally compensated those people. So there's example after example after example of the pharmaceutical industry rushing drugs to market that will hurt people. The most tragic thing, however, is people become victims twice. And what happens, unfortunately, is many lawyers start advertising. And they throw up ads on television saying, if you took this drug and if you're hurt, come call me. Well, unfortunately, these lawyers aren't filing those lawsuits. They're not hiring the experts to figure out what's wrong. They don't have the medical staff, for example, that we do to actually evaluate whether what happened to you was caused by this drug. He's not keeping that, and he will not tell you that he's not keeping it.
And when you say he's not keeping that, that means it goes to someone even in another state?
He'll package it up to another state. You won't know that lawyer. You'll have no contact with that lawyer. Unlike our firm, when you call us up and we take your case, we're not ever sending it anywhere else. We have the medical staff and we develop the experts, and we will take your case and we will file your case, and we'll either try it or we'll settle it or we'll resolve it. If we lose it, you don't pay us anything. If we win it, you'll pay us, but you're paying only us. You're not paying a bunch of other lawyers who take your case and send them out.
Some great information there, Mark. It's always great to see you. If you'd like more information on this issue, or you have a specific legal question you would like to ask Mark, all you have to do is send us a message on our Facebook page, The Southern Scene, or go to our website page, WSAV.com. We'll get all of your legal questions answered for you. Don't go away. We'll be back with our entertainment scene right after this. Stay with us.